Do you need some help fighting your FOMO this week after checking out the Key Collector Trending 20, CBSI Hot 10, and the Cover Price Top 10? Well, then this is the video for you. I'm about to pick the top 5 worst comic book investments, in my opinion, from those lists. Hi, I'm Christopher, aka the Bronze Age Nerd, and this is my top 5 not to buy comic book list, where I take 5 comic books from those lists and I choose them as the worst comic book to invest in this week. I also follow up 6 months and 1 year later on the prices for those, so we can kind of follow along and see how those books perform over time. So if you do like this video, make sure to go check out that series and see if that's something you also enjoy. At number 5 on the list, we have SpiderGwen from 2017. This is issue number 24, which is the first appearance of Gwen Stacy as Gwenom. And this is the J. Scott Campbell artist exclusive variant that appeared on his website. CBSI reports that this has a $250 raw value currently on the list, and it also has a much higher value in a CGC 9.8, which they list as $530. Now, we will track the prices for those on Go Collect, COVRPRICE, Overstreet Access, ComicsPriceGuide.com, and eBay sold listings in my price lookbacks if you're curious what those values look like when I do the research on it. However, I'll just say this much. If those values are correct, then this book is going for way too high, and I don't think it has much more room to climb. My main objection to this book is that the value is already so high that I just don't think we're going to see any more room to climb for the time being, especially with the market in the state it's in. So this was probably something where it was a great time to sell that book. It might still stay afloat at this level and not necessarily go down or raise in value, but then why buy it at this price, right? That's kind of my logic behind it. The only way I could see this character appearing is if they want to do something with Ghost Spider in the Spider-Verse movie, because we already have a lot of stuff happening around Miles and his character. Maybe they want to present an evil version of her character. That could happen. It's going to be very complicated, though. If they don't have Venom in that movie, explaining Gwenom will be a little tough. We'll see how it goes. By Grabthar's Hammer, at number 4, we have Galaxy Quest appearing on the list, which is really surprising. This is Galaxy Quest Global Warming number 1, the first appearance of Galaxy Quest in comic books, apparently. This comes to us as Key Collector reports that we have early reports of a Paramount Plus series being developed for Galaxy Quest, which, by the way, as a Galaxy Quest fan, that's pretty cool. As a comic book fan, it doesn't move the needle for me at all on this book, and I have no reason to go pick it up. And I feel like a lot of collectors will feel the same way. This is one of those ones that's going to be found in, bins and flipped really fast, and I doubt it's ever really going to spike. If you happen to have a copy you get in a 50-cent bin or a $1 bin or something like that, yeah, sure, that's totally fine. But if you're picking it up at $10 or $15 expecting to make money on it, good luck. That brings us to number 3 on the list, which is Flash, Fastest Man Alive, number 1. This was a CinemaCon giveaway comic book, a rarer promo comic probably, which is pretty cool, but the stuff surrounding this movie, I'm hearing some, good early reports, but I think that the Flash part of this movie is probably going to end up being the weakest part. Ezra Miller's Flash is just riddled with issues, almost certainly never coming back. People are excited about Michael Keaton Batman. They're excited about some of the other characters in this movie. They're not super excited about Flash, is my take on it, at least. And if that's true, I think this is going to go like every other promo comic ever, any other, movie giveaway comic where it's going to do nothing. This brings us to number 2 at the list, which is Noctera number 1. This is hot on the heels of some further developing news in the production for the adaptation, the live-action adaptation of Noctera. And Noctera is a cool property, but there's just this kind of incremental, we get more and more news. You go from optioned to somebody's attached to it. In this case, the director's attached. James Wan is attached to this one. Until we get like a trailer or casting announcement, I don't think this is a good time to buy this book. Wait for the buzz to die down if you want to invest in Noctera. And in a couple of months, I bet you can go grab some cheap copies of number 1 or cheaper copies of number 1. And then you can flip them if you want to do it that way. Or if you're just looking to collect the comic book, of course, that's my advice as well. But this adaptation better knock it out of the park, because I think people are getting really tired of comic book adaptations at this point, unless they happen to rise to a new level of quality. And unless that happens, this book isn't going anywhere. And the number 1 comic book not to buy on the list this week is Rocket Raccoon number 1. Now, don't get me wrong, I love that little trash panda. I'm going to go see Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 on Saturday and check it out. I'm really excited for that. There's a lot of rumors, but no spoilers. I don't know anything about the movie. But there's a lot of rumors that Rocket's going to die. That's, we have other characters coming in that have been experimented upon. It just sort of seems like the writing's on the wall for a lot of people. But there's also kind of this divided thing where like people think certain members of the Guardians are going to die, or they're all going to die, or whatever. Even if that happens, this is Rocket Raccoon number 1. This is the first solo title. I think this book is kind of at its peak as we're getting close to the release of that movie. If he dies, there might be another slight jump in it for a week or two. And then if he doesn't die, I think it's going to basically have peaked right now where it's at, and you're going to be able to buy this book cheaper later on. I wouldn't necessarily say the same thing about his first appearance, but this is Rocket Raccoon #1. We're talking about first solo title, and I just feel like that's what's going on. Now, I should point out that the real reason it's on the list, according to Key Collector, is because of the casting of another Raccoon character. Name escapes me off the top of my head, but I don't think that matters very much. I think that's going to be a pretty minor thing as well. So make of that what you will, but that's how I feel about the #1 book on the top 5 not to buy list this week. I want to know what you think about the list and what comic books you are buying or not buying this week. Let me know in the comments down below, and on your way down to the comments, you can become a channel member if you so choose. All the channel members are up on the screen right now, and they really help keep this channel running, paying for some of those subscription services I use, like things like Key Collector, for example. And I use that money to help me make better videos for this channel. So if you want to help support that, that's something you could do. Thanks a lot, everybody that does support. And until next time, I want to remind you, as always, hey, 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 hey. Read comics every day.